Hello, everyone, and welcome again to Sean's Horror Corner. As always, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you tuning in. Uh, Everyone who's been commenting, liking, sharing, hyping, following on social media and sharing the links. Thank you guys all so much. I love being a part of the horror community. You guys are amazing. So thank you all for your support. Today, we're going to be talking about Companion from 2025. Picked this up recently on 4K. Wanted to talk about it. Uh, did a rewatch of this movie yesterday to kind of get ready for this. And, you know, this is a movie that when it first came out, I saw the trailer a few times in theaters, I feel like, and I really didn't know what to think. I don't feel like the trailer really gave us a lot, which is fine. That's perfectly okay. But in this case, I don't know, I had no idea what to think. And I started to go see it a few times and then, I changed my mind. And so I didn't go watch this when it came out in theaters. Um, Later, it was streaming on something I don't remember what. But finally, even after a few times there of almost starting it and not doing it, I finally pulled the trigger and watched the movie and was very pleasantly surprised with the way this movie turned out and really enjoyed it. And, talked about it a little bit here and there throughout the year with, friends and things like that. And uh, especially Sophie Thatcher's performance, which we'll get into all the cast and stuff here in a few minutes. But I thought she was absolutely amazing. And so really enjoyed the movie. And when I got ready to do this rewatch for this episode tonight, yeah, it's interesting. I'm kind of looking forward to talking about this. So we're going to go ahead and jump right in. Companion for 2025. Tagline for the movie: Find someone made just for you. Brief synopsis for the film: During a weekend getaway at a secluded lakeside estate, a group of friends find themselves entangled in a web of secrets, deception, and advanced technology. As tension rises and loyalties are tested, they uncover unsettling truths about themselves and the world around them. The film was released January 31st of 2025, directed and written by Drew Hancock, produced by Raphael Margulis. I'm not sure how you say that. I might mess up some names here. We all know I'm not great at that. J.D. Lifshitz, Zach Krager, and Roy Lee. Cinematography by Eli Bourne, edited by Brett W. Bachman and Josh Ethier. Music, I'm not even going to try to pronounce that name, so we'll move on. Distributed by Warner Brothers Pictures, runtime of 97 minutes, a budget of $10 million, box office 36.7 million. So three times its budget, but still not a huge success as far as box office numbers. Cast for the film, just a few names I'll mention here: Sophie Thatcher, Jack Quaid, Lucas Gage, Megan Suri, Harvey Guillen, and Rupert Friend. Let me stop there, and we're going to go ahead and talk cast and characters first, and then get into a couple of other things. So, as I said at the beginning, Sophie Thatcher, absolutely amazing in this movie. I think she was phenomenal. I think, I did an award show recently with Our Life in Horror where we were doing horror awards. Um, Off the top of my head, I do not remember who won the Best Actress award, but in my opinion, should have been Sophie Thatcher. I just think she's absolutely amazing in this movie. Just does a phenomenal job. Love her performance in this film. I also think Jack Quaid is great in this movie. He is really growing on me as an actor. I think he's really good. And the rest of the cast also does a good job. Nobody gives a bad performance in this film at all. I don't feel like everybody is very solid. Um, yeah, I just think Jack Quaid is really good, and I think Sophie Thatcher is amazing. As far as the characters, with the exception of Iris, our primary character, I guess you could say in the film, the rest of this group not so likable. I think that there are times when you like some of these characters, and then other times when you don't. I think they each have their moments here and there, but overall, not the most likable group of characters here in the film. As you get to know them and find, the plot unveils. Initially, they all seem great. I feel like maybe not one, but or maybe not two actually, but yeah, I mean they seem fine in the beginning. It just tends to change as the movie goes on, which is, I mean, it has to for the plot purpose, so that's okay. Cinematography, score, story. I think the cinematography is really good. I think this movie looks good. We get some great shots in this film. I love the look of this lakeside estate. It makes me want to go someplace like that and hang out for a weekend with some friends. But yeah, I like some of the shots we get in the woods. Yeah, I just think it's shot really well, and there's some really good shots in here. The effects, I think that we get are pretty good as well. Um, the score, it's fine. It doesn't really jump out at me or do anything for me. There's even a few times where I don't even notice it. Now, there's some decent music in the film, here and there, some fun songs, I guess you might say, and there's some fun scenes in this movie as well. But yeah, I mean, the score's okay. It's fine. And as far as the story, I really like this story, and especially with the world that we live in today and all the talk about AI and the different things that are out there. It's very relevant, and I like this story. I think we get a. This is not a scary movie at all. Um, the concept could be scary of what could happen, but the movie itself, I don't think is scary. There's some suspense here and there. Um, the kills, for the most part, I don't feel like are anything special. But I think there's a little bit of tension here and there. There's some comedy, and I don't know. I think the story plays out well. I could see how some people might find this movie a little slow at times because I will say that there are a couple of moments where I feel like the pacing struggles a little bit. Overall, I think it's pretty good. I mentioned it's a 97-minute runtime. Um, the first time I watched it, I thought it went by very quickly. The rewatch, I felt like drug a little more here and there, not enough to really hurt the film too badly. But yeah, I mean, there might have been some minor pacing issues here and there, and I could see where, if you're a diehard horror fan, where you're wanting, great kills and that's why you're tuning in. This is probably not for you. But again, the story is good, and I feel like storytelling is something that we're lacking a lot of nowadays. So I really like the way this one plays out. And yeah, I mean, I'm kind of giving away my overall thoughts a little bit, I guess, here. But yeah, I like the story as well. As far as production notes, not much out there for this film really that I could find that was interesting. Zach Cregger, who I mentioned was a producer of the film, was originally set to direct, but he suggested that Drew Hancock do so. Critics were very fond of the film. It got a lot of praise overall from critics, primarily Sophie Thatcher and Jack Quaid's performance, which I completely understand. Yeah, I just didn't find a lot as far as production notes to get into and talk about for this movie. So we're going to go ahead and get into the plot and begin to walk through this thing. Let me get a drink of coffee first because it's been a long day and I'm trying to stay awake. All right, very good. Let's walk through this plot here a little bit. So we open the film up with a woman whose name is Iris talking about the first time that she met Josh, who is her boyfriend. We're kind of getting to see some of this story play out where they meet in like the supermarket. She makes a comment when she's talking about it about two moments in her life that she'll never forget. One being the first time that she met Josh, and then the time that she killed him. And from there, we cut to the two of them a little bit later on as they're traveling to this lakeside house for a vacation with Josh's friends. There is Kat. There is Eli and his partner Felix, Kat's boyfriend Sergey. And then we spend quite a bit of time. And here's where I feel like I didn't remember how much time we actually spent with all of these characters before things really start to happen. I think there's some good character development here, though. We find out, we get familiar with Eli and Patrick's relationship and Patrick talking about how they met. We find out that Kat is not really a fan of Iris. Iris is trying to figure out why. And at one point, I think Kat mentions to her, it's not so much you, it's the idea of you. Kat's boyfriend, Sergey, who owns this lake house that they're at, not the most likable person. He seems charming in the beginning, but he very quickly comes across in not a good way. And Kat even talks about, their relationship not being real as far as feelings. It's more of, she just does whatever he wants to do and she gets treated, well, because he's got a lot of money. We spend a lot of time getting to know this group. There's a dinner scene. There's a lot of dancing and things like that going on. I do see where here people could maybe quickly get bored with the movie. I do feel like there's some minor pacing issues here. I feel like this scene goes on a little longer than needed. Now, again, the overall runtime is only 97 minutes, so it's not like this is a long movie. Yeah, I could just watching it again yesterday. I was finding myself like, where did something happen? Like I know I've seen this before. I just didn't remember it taking this long for something to happen. But again, it's fine. From there, it's the next day now after they've all spent the night there at this house, and Iris is going to go down to the lake. Her boyfriend Josh is going to join her a little bit later on, but right now she's just going down to the lake. And while she's down there, the rest of the group is kind of in the house just chatting a little bit, and it doesn't appear that Josh is really intending to go down there. Iris shows back up at the house a little bit later. She's covered in blood. She has a knife, and then she begins to tell a story that she killed Sergey, or I believe that's how you say it, that he came down to the lake and basically tried to sexually assault her, that she killed him in self-defense. Everyone kind of starts freaking out about this. Here again, I think we get an amazing performance from Sophie Thatcher in this scene. I just think she's so good throughout this entire movie, but I really like her performance here as well. And then Josh, trying to get a hold of the situation, basically just says, Iris, go to sleep, and she shuts down. Josh and Eli then begin to have a conversation about how they're going to play this off, that they're going to have to call the company, where we find out that she's she's a programmed companion robot. Like his partner, his AI girlfriend, basically, and that they're going to have to contact the company that they got this and just report her as malfunctioning. Eventually, Josh kind of wakes her back up. I think he just says, Iris, wake up, and that kind of brings her back too. And then he tries to tell her the truth, that she is this programmed companion sex robot, and that he controls her with this app on his phone. We again kind of get some backstory then here of, he tells her that the memory she has of how they met was a programmed memory. It's not real. We get to go back to the day that the company delivered her to him, and told him how to program her with the phone and how to establish this link and do all these types of things. And so we get some of that, and then we find out. We cut to Josh and Kat. They've tied Iris up in this chair where she can't escape. And we cut to Josh and Kat talking, and we find out that this has all been a plan that they have had this entire time, that Sergey has a lot of money, and the plan the entire time was to Josh had gone in and played with Iris' settings, making her more violent, because initially she's not supposed to be able to harm a human. So Josh has gone in and change these settings where she can, and they've set this up for her to kill Sergey. She'll take the blame, but they are going to steal his money. And so as this conversation is going on and we're finding out this plan, Iris is able to escape. She's also able to get a hold of Josh's phone and takes off running into the forest. Again, maybe some points in this that are a little slow upon the rewatch. I feel like I enjoyed it more the first time than the second time through, now that I know what's going on and I know what to expect. And, there's not the shock and the plot twist and that kind of thing anymore, because now you know what's happening. And sometimes that, on a rewatch, it doesn't always play out like it changes your opinion. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. And I don't think it really affects my opinion too much, but it did. Again, it felt a little slower, but it's not horrible. It's not horribly slow. And again, I love the performances so much here. I know I keep saying it, but from Sophie Thatcher, but also from, gosh, my mind just went blank, of Josh, Jack Quaid. So sorry. I think the performances are solid enough here that they're carrying it regardless of some slow points. And again, I think the story is being told very well, and it's good. So I'm still okay with this. Like I said, we find out that Josh has changed all of her settings. That he and Kat were going to steal this $12 million from Sergey's safe. He ends up revealing this plan to Eli. And initially, Eli wasn't going to be a part of this, but now they've, revealed the plan to him and are willing to give him a cut of the money as well. We also find out that Patrick is also one of these robot companions that Eli has programmed, has ordered and programmed to be his partner. And while this is going on, Iris out in the woods has figured out how to use Josh's phone to get in and boost her intelligence to try to help her get through this situation and escape. Um, the other four, Josh and Kat, go one direction looking for her. Patrick and Eli go another direction. Somewhere along the line in this, and it may have been back, I may have skipped it. The scene where Patrick is talking. Yeah, this was back during the dinner before all this happened. I did miss mentioning this. Patrick's description of how he and Eli met and them showing that scene is actually pretty funny. That's a fun scene, I think. But yeah, back to where we're at right now. Patrick and Eli end up coming across, they end up finding Iris, and then in the midst of a struggle, Iris manages to get a hold of a gun that Eli had and shoots and kills Eli. Iris then manages to get to Josh's car, but when she gets in the car and gets ready to try to escape, Josh then uses Sergey's phone to report the car is stolen. And so she gets away a little bit, but quickly the car shuts down, and now she's basically trapped inside this car. Josh ends up deciding that what they need to do is, since Eli is dead, is he is now going to reprogram Patrick to be his companion, also turn up his settings of being able to harm another robot, much more aggressive, and he sends Patrick out to track down Iris and bring her back. While Iris is stuck in the car, just as she's kind of like breaking the windows and able to get out, a police officer arrives. This is another fun scene because Iris changes her voice setting very quickly to where she only speaks German, so this cop can't understand her and is having a hard time figuring out what's going on. Also a pretty fun scene. I think I enjoyed this scene. Because it's showing the words in English on the screen, so the things that she's saying to him would be completely giving her away at everything that's happening. But because she's actually speaking it in German, he doesn't understand her. It's just kind of a fun scene. You just have to see it probably. But Patrick does show up. He ends up killing the cop, and then he is able to shut Iris down and bring her back to the lake house where Josh and Kat are waiting. In the middle of all this, as Kat and Josh are talking about this, Kat becomes very frustrated with Josh and decides that she wants to leave. Josh tells Patrick to stop her, but because his settings have been changed so much, rather than just keeping her from leaving, he actually ends up killing her as well. And so now, another dead person, and this is all spiraling out of control, and he's got to figure out what to do. He thinks he comes up with a plan. We get a scene where they're having dinner, and Josh is basically just ranting about his life and how unfairly he's been treated, how nothing has gone right for him. Patrick is just kind of in the back. He believes the one that serves them the meal. He's just kind of sitting back watching, and Iris is sitting there listening. But she begins to insult Josh a little bit, and so he then ends up turning her intelligence completely off, and he makes her set her arm on fire, like she holds her arm over a candle until it catches fire, and then he also makes her shoot herself in the head, which again will shut her down. He calls this company Empathex or something like that was what it was called, waits on them to arrive. They finally do, and he tells them this story of how she just malfunctioned and seemed to go crazy, and he thought she was jealous of a relationship that he might have with Kat, and so she just kind of gone crazy, started killing people. And it seems like these workers from Empathex are kind of suspicious of him, but they're just kind of going along with all this. And then they make the comment to him that because he thinks because she shot herself in the head that this is all over. They can't figure out what happened. But they mentioned to him that these robots record all of their interaction, and that all they have to do, this recording system is more in the stomach area, and that they just need to plug her back in, reboot her, and then they can retrieve the footage to try and find out what went wrong with her, which this immediately causes Josh to panic because he's going to get caught. He sends Patrick out to stop them. Patrick does shoot and kill one of them, but one of them is able to escape. All the while, Iris has been in the van plugged in and in the process of rebooting, which she does just in time, and is able to stop Patrick from killing the other worker, and then is able to break the control that Josh has over Patrick by reminding him of the memories that he had with Eli. And as Patrick kind of begins to realize that Josh has just been playing him, he's heartbroken, and he ends up basically killing himself. From there, the other worker, who is thankful for what Iris has done, ends up freeing her from Josh's control with the app. She returns to the house. We get kind of a battle between her and Josh, and just when it looks like he has the upper hand over him, she tells him to go to sleep, much like what he had done to her, and then stabs him in the head with a electric corkscrew. The scene looks really good. I do like this scene. Killing him, she removes the burnt skin off of her hand and just kind of reveals this metal skeleton arm, Terminator-looking thing. Takes the money and begins to drive away. As she's driving away, she passes a man in a car who has another robot companion who looks very similar to her, and she just waves at them. The robot looks a little confused, and that's the end of the movie. Again, that's going through it pretty quickly, but that's Companion. Like I said, I feel like once we get to where the killings and things like that start, again, she accidentally shoots Eli in their scuffle, and I feel like the pacing really picks up. Those few slow moments that we had in the beginning of the film are gone. And from this point on, I really enjoy this film. I just think it's a lot of fun. Again, it's not scary, but there's some very fun scenes throughout the film. Even when Josh reprograms Patrick, we then go back and see the same scene that we saw with how Patrick and Eli met in Patrick's memory, but now it's Josh instead of him. It's kind of fun. Again, I mentioned at the beginning that the group seemed kind of fun, other than maybe Sergey. Initially, first watching this, the first time I watched this and didn't know what was coming, I was like, this looks like an amazing place to go for a weekend. This seems like a really fun group to hang out with. And, that for those of you that have listened to me talk about other movies, I like those kind of setups and settings. So, that brought me in. And even as the group then begins, you realize that they're all not so nice and they all have some issues. By now, I think you're so on board with Iris that it doesn't really affect things too much. Again, the second half of the movie, I think the pacing is much, much better. It's fun. I do like the final kill there where she ends up killing Josh with like I said, that electric corkscrew thing. I think it's a fun movie. Few pacing issues early, but amazing performances, good story. I really like this movie. To determine how I would rate it on my scale of 1 to 10, I've been kind of going back and forth before a few numbers. I don't think it's an excellent movie. It's not worth a 9 or a 10. Probably the first time I watched it, I was a lot closer to an 8. Now, some of the pacing in the beginning brings that down a little bit. Still not much, though. I think I will give Companion a 7.5, 7.5 out of 10. I really enjoy this film. I think it's a lot of fun. Again, not a scary movie, but very entertaining. Scary concept. There's a lot of things about this movie that I really do enjoy. So again, for me, 7.5 out of 10. Now I want to know what you think. I always love seeing the comments to see what other people think about this movie, whether they enjoy it or don't, or what they might agree with me on, or even disagree. I don't mind you disagreeing. We all don't have to have the same opinion. So I definitely enjoyed that kind of thing. So leave me some comments. Let me know what your thoughts are on Companion. Do you really like it? Not so much? Do you think it's slow? Yeah, just tell me your thoughts. Please hit the like button today. Help me out there. Hit the hype button if you can. Got some fun stuff coming again later in the week. Actually, this is a very busy week for me as far as the YouTube channel. I've got episodes coming this week on The Fog from 1980, the John Carpenter classic. The end of the week, my friend Isaiah from The Bitter Wolf is going to be on. He and I are going to be talking about Leatherface, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3. And then I'm also, if everything still goes according to plan, I'll be live tonight on Our Life in Horror. Again, that's if all continues as planned right now. But I'll be live on Our Life in Horror tonight. I believe Wednesday night I'm live on A&B Horror Movies, live stream with them on their channel. So a couple of lives this week, some other good episodes. So be sure and hit subscribe so you don't miss anything. Follow me on social media. I'm pretty much on everything out there. Blue Sky, Instagram, Threads, TikTok, X. I have a letterbox. Just search Sean's Horror Corner. You can find everything there. I do try to follow back as much as possible. So again, thank you so much for watching. Subscribe, like, share, hype, comment, do all the things, and I'll be back in a couple of days. Again, thank you so much for watching. I will see you soon.